Hey folks, Rick and Mike down here at the lake today. Mike, we came down to catch some fish, finesse fishing with these shaky heads, and we've had a really good day. We found a good pocket that we've really been catching them.
Yeah, I don't know how many we caught, but you know, there for a while we made like 5 casts in a row.
Five casts in a row.
And just using these little shaky heads. I'm using a smaller profile bait than you. I'm using a Zoom finesse worm. Mine's green pumpkin, and I dipped the tail in chartreuse. And I'm using 6-pound line on a 1/8 ounce head on mine.
1/8, yeah.
Yeah, and what are you using?
I've got a Zoom green pumpkin trick worm. It's a little bit bigger, and I'm using a 3/16 ounce head. It's a Strike King green pumpkin jig head. And with the 8-pound test, I'm using 8-pound fluorocarbon. I can cast it a little bit farther with that little bit heavier jig head.
Mm-hmm.
And we're catching the fish probably anywhere from 3 to 6 feet, I would say.
I would say so. Keying on the spawning pockets, you go back in the creeks and the indentations that are in the bank, and the smaller gravel, that if it has some mixed rock with it, we found that to be the best.
Yeah, that bank over there we just fished has got some bigger rock and mainly pea gravel.
Yeah.
And these fish right now, they're either spawning or they're getting ready to stage to spawn, and catching them pretty shallow. We caught a lot of males, but we caught some pretty good quality females as well.
Yes, we did. It was a great morning.
The equipment we're using, I'm using a Johnny Morris Signature Series rod. It's 7 foot 2 inch.
It's made in America.
Made in America, medium heavy action. And the reel I'm using, I've got a Johnny Morris Signature Series reel as well. And it's got a really nice drag to it. What rod and reel are you using?
I'm using the Johnny Morris Platinum Series. This 7 foot 3 spinning rod, medium heavy, and then the Johnny Morris Platinum reel. And like I said, you're using 8-pound, I'm using 6-pound, but I'm using a lot lighter head too.
Right.
So you know, this one here, I can fish it with an 1/8 ounce head pretty shallow and not get hung up.
Yep. And it's got a lot slower fall.
It does, yeah.
Mine, with that trick worm, it's got a pretty slow fall to it as well, but I've got a little bit heavier jig head, and I can cast it a little bit farther. And you've been casting a little bit closer to the bank than I have.
Yeah.
But we're having a really good day. Now's a good time to come down to the lake. You can catch fish, finesse fishing, and we're using shaky heads today and had a really good day.
Yeah, and this bait is one that's just anybody can use.
Yep.
The cadence that we're using or how we're working it is we're just throwing it out, letting it go to the bottom, and we're just moving it about 2 or 3 foot at a time, very slow. And then we're putting the rod down and reeling up our slack and doing it again.
Yep.
And you'll feel just a tick, and sometimes the fish will just be coming at you and your line will just be slack. So you got to really pay attention.
You do.
Yep.
And I kind of drag mine. And when I get a bite, you can kind of feel it being heavy, and you can see your line move away, and that's when I set the hook.
Yeah. Well, it's been a great morning. I can't wait to get back out there.
Yeah, it's been a great day.
Go to ky3.com and enter Fish Like a Bass Pro. You'll have a chance to win a fishing trip with Rick and I, and we've got some great prizes to go along with it.
You can now stream this week's tip and all of our fishing tips for the past few seasons via the KY3 app on Roku, Amazon, or Apple TV.
And look for updated tips each Wednesday evening throughout the spring fishing season.